This is a little confused. This is a little more than I thought. I gotta be honest. I came in with my dick swinging.
Welcome to Building Friendships. I'm your host, John Sotis. Yeah, we are on.
Let's do it.
We have a New Yorker here, so I'm feeling comfortable. Well, she's not from New York, but she's from New York.
From Philly. Wawa country.
That's unfortunate. The place that destroys their city when they win the Super
Or
Bowl.
lose. Yeah.
Or lose. Win or lose, they're destroying Philadelphia. We have Krystyna Hutchinson. She's a podcaster. She's a comic. She does everything.
Yeah.
She's an actress.
Yes.
Because we know Dennis and Bethany. We have mutual
you
friends.
do?
Yeah.
I love that.
Bethany's one of my best friends.
Bethany rules.
Yeah. So, well, thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me. I am 35 going on 10, so I was very excited to know that we get to play with toys.
You're someone that I have a small list of people who I'm like, I think they're going to be good at this.
Yeah. There
are a lot of people who have gotten 3 or 4 pieces in. I think you're going to crush this in the time we're going to be doing.
I was going to say, is it timed?
It's not timed. We're going to see how long we get within the episode, and that's it. So I'll do mine first. So last year they released a Muppets series, and I'm going to be customizing the Lego Friends school theater to be a theater for the Muppets.
Oh, school theater.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's very pink, which is fine. Nothing wrong with pink.
You're okay with pink? Are you sure?
Listen, I saw the Barbie movie. I'm just Ken. I gotta figure it out.
Yeah. Do you like the Barbie movie?
Second time I saw it. The first. We'll get to that. Really quickly, what set are you doing?
It's in Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. It comes with a pile of shit.
The Jeep, the legendary Jeep, and then Laura Dern, and then Jeff Goldblum, and a pile of poop. From this tour. Oh, this is a great set.
It's a great set.
Wow, pile of poop.
Yeah. So let's do this.
How many people usually? Has anybody finished?
I just did an episode with my friend Rachel. She finished, and Sarah Tiana was the other. She was the other person who I was like, she's gonna crush it. And she got really far in the episode, and then the next morning she texted me, "Yeah, I finished this last night." So I was very impressed with hers, but it's very difficult to get it done and talk at the same time.
Well,
I think that's where people are struggling.
That's where the benefit of being a New Yorker.
Yeah.
We multitask all damn day.
That's it. So I saw the Barbie movie the first time and I fell asleep and I missed the entire Ryan Gosling sing-along scene. And then I saw it the second time and I was like, this movie's great.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yes, I saw it once with my girlfriends. Am I on this one? Oh, okay. And it was fantastic. I loved it. Everybody got dressed up. I really loved that. Everyone looked really cute. There was, it was one of those, the pendulum swings too hard in the other direction when like women's rights and then we were really amped. There was a lot of women there. We were all dressed up. We were all in groups of girlfriends. And then there was men coming in and we were like, why are men here? And they're like, shut up. We can't, that's not nice.
And then you watch the movie and you're like, oh, that's actually the exact point of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I loved the Barbie movie. I saw Book of Mormon like the day before and I got really spoiled with like.
For the first time?
No, the second time.
Okay.
And it's actually better the second time.
Is it?
And I am amazed by how quickly they just do joke. They punch you in the face with jokes because Trey.
South Park, yeah.
Yeah. They're geniuses, but you could tell. And I saw Beyonce 2 days ago. I would say Trey and Matt are equivalent. They're the Beyoncés of comedy writing.
You are a big Beyonce person. You love Beyonce.
Yes, I almost wore my Beyonce shirt today, but I was like, we're gonna.
I don't know if you have to choose one or the other, but I'm more of a Swiftie.
Oh, well, That's your prerogative.
I am definitely on. Yeah.
You're a Swiftie. Well, I like Taylor Swift. I think she's a lovely. Yeah. I think she's a great role model.
I never got onto the Beyonce bandwagon.
Right. Okay. Well, what do you like about Taylor Swift?
I think it's the instrument thing. I think there's something about someone like that. That's what I think Fahim Anwar said. This was similar to, he was unable to do anything. And he said it was similar to building Lego and talking was similar to playing an instrument and singing at the same time, which I can't do.
Oh, I can do that. I have a piano in my apartment. I can play and sing and I'm learning drums.
That blows my mind.
Yeah. So it's called independence. At least when you're drumming, the ability to have each limb do something different. And I already knew that with piano, and I live in New York, so everything's always chaotic. So this is a little confused. This is a little more than I thought. I gotta be honest. I came in with my dick swinging, going,
again,
I'm gonna nail this. Yes, truly.
That's the beauty of New York. You come in realizing that you probably can do anything in California that anybody else can't.
We think we can. And then,
I think, no, I've been here long enough to say we can.
Yeah.
No, we can.
I feel confident with the stand-up thing. You know what's so funny? When I first came here for stand-up, and this was like a little cute, naive thing that I thought, but I was like, all the stand-ups here are hot. Like, that's not a requirement in New York. You don't have to be hot.
That's what I say about the homeless people here.
They're hot?
They're attractive homeless people. You can't tell if they're homeless or just came from the beach.
Right.
And like, I'm sitting here, I was in New York 5 and now I'm in LA 2 and I'm like, this is fucking garbage.
Yeah. That sucks. Oh, okay. I see.
When did you first start stand-up?
God, 13 years ago, 12 years ago. I moved to New York because I wanted to intern at Saturday Night Live because I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. And I knew that I was going to Penn State my first year of college. I knew that if I did college in New York, I could intern at SNL because you have to be in college to intern at SNL for NBC. And I interviewed 3 times. They rejected me all 3 times. And then the 4th time, I think the woman felt bad for me. She called to say there's no positions after she interviewed me because no one quits. If you get an internship at SNL, you don't quit. They just stay there for their whole college duration. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, if anybody decides they don't want to do it, you call me. And I was so sad. And then she called me an hour later. It was like a miracle. She called me an hour later and she goes, you know what? Come in Tuesdays and Saturdays. And my grandpa died that same day. And I was very sad about that, but goddamn, I was so happy about the SNL thing that I didn't grieve for like months because I was too excited about SNL. There was a bunch of girls that interned at SNL that did not like me, and I felt very like they were like, I don't know, they had like a mean girl vibe, and I was so meek and like spineless during college that I would just like eat my lunch in the bathroom, that kind of thing. Oh. But speaking of Beyonce, so when Betty White hosted, Jay-Z was a musical guest. On the 8th floors, which is where Studio 8H is, where they shoot, there's a very tiny, thin hallway where the musical artist's green room is. I had to go through that I pretended I had to go through it. So I walked through it and I passed Beyonce in the hallway. And I ran to the bathroom and scream cried. I mean, I don't.
So you're long-term Beyonce.
Oh, yeah.
You're OG Beyonce.
Since I was 15.
Destiny's Child?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she raised me. I didn't have a lot of strong women in my life.
You know what's really funny now? You just brought back this memory. I had the same experience with NBC, but not with SNL. My dream, like the reason I even started doing stand-up, which I hated doing, I hated performing, was I wanted to be a writer, and that was the only way to really be seen, to get on one of like the Daily Show and Friends show.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be so even though I had a full-time job, I wanted to be a writer for Fallon, and I was like, I want to interview for that. So I went for an internship interview where they were like, you need to prove that you're getting credits. So I went to my college professor and I was like, hey, can you write me a letter saying that you'll give me credits? He's like, yeah, no problem. So I was like, great. So I had the interview. They did the same thing as me, as you. They were like, we don't really have anything right now. It's really meant for college students, but we'll give you an SVU internship. I worked at SVU for 2 years. Law and Order SVU.
Yeah, that's great.
It's not what I wanted to do. It was a lot of dead bodies, but I was like, this is amazing. This is.
I mean, you learn chops.
Yeah,
you learn like.
That's what I learned a lot from it. That's what people need to do. Is I'm sort of in the mentality of college is great, but it's not as necessary as an internship.
Right, and I wasn't going to go to college, but I went. I did go, and I'm glad I did, only because I got to intern at SNL. Because the last day of my internship at SNL, so interns weren't allowed to go to the after parties because one of them fucked Jeremy Piven, and of course that was the intern's fault. And so ever since then, we couldn't go to the after party. I'm like, if we're gonna fuck, we're gonna fuck.
Yeah,
just let us fuck.
Yeah,
but I do understand why they'd rather not.
Jeremy Piven
have that happen. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Ari gets what Ari wants.
Yeah, especially at that time.
Those were the Entourage days?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, well, it was when he was hosting. So an intern fucked one of the hosts, and when I was like, well, which one? And they're like, Jeremy Piven. I'm like, sick, good for her. So we were only allowed at the after parties. The after parties started at 3:30 in the morning. And I, sober, I look back, I'm like, good for me. Just completely sober. I was so excited. I would stay up until 3:30 in the morning. And my friends and I would wait, and then we would there was a phone number you call. You get the password and the location to the after party. And the second it hit 3:30, we called, we got the info, and we're like, we're going. And we would go until like 5 a.m. And it was some of the best times of my life. So the last episode of that semester that I interned, there was only one mixed party, and I was very excited about that. It was on the ice skating rink. And that's when we got to kind of mingle with the writers. And I said to John Lutz, what do I got to do to get on the show? And he comes from an improv background. I thought he was going to tell me UCB, but he said, you should do stand-up. And I was like, that's not what I wanted to hear. But the next day, I signed up for a bringer show. So...
Which is fucking, like, look where you are now.
Yeah.
It's just crazy when
Thanks,
you look
John.
back at that and you're just sort of like...
It was one of those moments that was life-changing and I had no idea.
Yeah, you don't know at the moment. And then you realize, oh, this is something I can do. Mm-hmm. So it was very similar to mine in that you wanted to get on a show and like stand-up was the way. Yep. I took a stand-up class, which I will defend till the end of... Like I took Jessica.
I wish I did.
Stand-up
class. I mean,
the
Jessica.
Best in the world.
Christ.
Jim Mendrino's taught it, but like having her as a mentor and getting those Friday night spots at Gotham, and Gotham being my home club, like
that's everything.
Yeah. When people shit on when people shit on that on stand up classes, I'm like, no.
My first time ever on stage, ever, was a bringer show.
Nightmare.
I don't. It's like I hate myself. Like, why did I put myself in that position? Like, I forced my broke friends to pay $20 a ticket and have 2 drinks at Broadway Comedy Club. And there wasn't even like a famous person on the show. When you do bringers at Gotham, like Seinfeld to show up or Gaffigan, no famous people. It was just awful comedians doing 5 minutes. And it was...
And you have to bring 30 to get that tape.
Well, I brought... I think for that time, I only got 5 minutes. And I had to bring 5 people.
Did you even get a tape out of it, Gotham? If you brought a certain amount, you got a tape.
I did, but I can't watch that. You know what though? Maybe I can now. Actually,
I mean that's a series I always wanted to do. Comics bringing their old DVDs. I have mine, and it was bad.
Yeah, it's so cute. But now that I don't think that's the word. Yeah, I have self-esteem now, so I can look back and go, "Girl, you tried. You bombed, but you tried."
That's the problem with success. You get that self-esteem, and yeah. So okay, so how long? Because, and I'm not kissing your ass because you're a guest here, you're the first successful podcast that I knew of. Like even before Rogan, because I was a New York
guy. Wow.
Because I was a New York guy. It was like, what are the New York comics doing? And it was like, guys, we fucked. And that was way before I think Norman did his.
Oh, yeah. So, Norman was doing Tuesdays with Stories with Joe List.
Stories. He wasn't doing the one with Sam Morril yet.
Oh, no.
So like you were the first success. I'm like, oh. This is a thing now.
Yeah, it got huge quick. It was kind of crazy.
So let's start at the beginning. So how did you and Corinne meet?
So I moved to New York to intern at SNL, as I said, and my first ever internship interview was with a company called Liebman Entertainment. They're a talent management company. They represent Lin-Manuel Miranda, Sandra Bernhard, all these heavy hitter actors and musical actors and all that stuff. Corinne. So the company consisted of 3 people: Corey Richmond, Brian Liebman, they were the talent managers, and then Corinne Fisher. And she was the assistant / junior talent manager. So she was my first ever internship. She was like kind of my boss.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I had this attitude of like, one thing I'm pretty good at that I know I can crush is like making a good impression.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm going to be the first one there, last to leave. I'm not going to be annoying. I'm going to have a great attitude. Like I really kind of had an idea of how to make an impression. So she was my first internship. And then that was sophomore year of college. By the time senior year rolls around is when I interned at SNL. And I did the bringer shows. And Corinne came to my very first bringer show. Because I messaged everybody on Facebook like, you want to come do comedy? And she came.
Nightmare.
Oh, it's terrible. I feel so bad for anybody going to see me. It was awful. But she says I wasn't that bad, and she would have been pretty honest.
I don't think you were bad. It's I imagine
no structure. I was just talking.
Yeah. It's fine. It's what a lot of people use podcasts for now. You do an episode and things pop up and you're like, oh, I could turn this into something.
Yeah.
Except you're trying to turn it into something on stage.
Right. And I didn't know. I just didn't have the wherewithal to like write. I didn't know what I was doing. But I'm glad I did it. That was a very ballsy, like when you're 20 years old, you got balls, you know?
Yeah.
And you really got to take advantage of that bravery that you it's like you're a kamikaze pilot, honestly.
It's what we see in the TikTokers now. Yeah, I'm going to do the milk crate challenge.
Yeah.
At 37, I'm not doing a milk crate challenge.
No.
At 21, maybe.
Your knees are cracked. Yeah. So, So yeah, I really took advantage of just being young, dumb, and excited to be there in New York City.
We'll get back to the podcast. Are you able to ask for things now? Like one of the things I see at the store, people are afraid to ask for more spots.
Yeah, for sure. I usually, if I want more spots, it's
not even more spots. Like
I'll say I have a important audition or something coming up. Can you?
That's a good skill to have.
Yeah,
because there are a lot of people that are like, oh, I don't want to bother them. It's like, no, but if you don't ask, they're not going to offer anything.
And two, people ask me on Guys We Fucked all the time, and they have since we started, and it was mostly men that asked. I get and a lot of when we started to have comedians on, it was the male comedians that were like kind of unafraid to ask, and then the female comedians weren't. I'm like, come on, ask. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Worst case scenario, you're getting told
say no. Yeah. The one thing I'm bad at is saying no to people. I'm so uncomfortable.
That's one of my worst traits is that I want everyone to like me, and I feel like if I say no, they won't.
I don't know. I think it used to be about wanting people to like me for sure. But now I'm just like, I just feel bad. Like, I don't want you to think, I don't want you to feel bad.
Too. Well, I think there's also a lot of, you were in that position. Like you asked for an internship and you weren't happy when you were told no, and you don't want to do that for somebody, but you also can't commit to a yes.
Yeah. It's tricky. A lot of layers.
So, okay. So here's my next question. So Guys We Fucked, when you came up with that title, was there any paranoia around the idea of like, oh God, we're going to get trashed because it's two women talking about sex? The same way they have that stigma with stand-up where it's like, no, if you're funny, you're funny.
Yeah. No, I didn't have, the only paranoia I had, truly the only paranoia I had was, fuck, my mom can't know I do this.
Really?
This is the only thing. I was terrified of my mother.
Because you were going to go balls to the wall and just be open about everything.
Yeah, and we our plan, we basically, when Corinne thought of the idea, she said, I want to interview every guy we've ever slept with for a podcast. We'll call it Guys We Fucked. I added on the anti-slut shaming podcast to kind of just give it a little more, I don't know, depth. And then even though Guys We Fucked is perfect on its own. And we sat down in her room one day. We made like a magazine style pamphlet of what we wanted, how we wanted this to go, like what the topics we wanted to discuss. Yeah, we kind of take shit pretty seriously. And we were like, why do we want to talk about this stuff? Why does it mean something to us? What were the times that we've gotten like slut shamed, And so we really were thoughtful about it.
And that's why it was a success.
Yeah.
Like one of my biggest pet peeves here is because I'm quote unquote the podcast guy, everyone pitches me stuff and it's just the most disorganized. Like, hey, we're going to have someone coming in. We're going to do interviews. I'm like, okay, and how's that separate you from the other 2 million podcasts?
Right. Where's the theme? Where's the something you
structure need? Or even structure. Yeah, that's that's why you guys were such a success early on. You went in with a plan and it wasn't just, we're going to talk on the mic and something will pop up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was very interesting for us. Like, I think if the person I think one of the keys to having a successful podcast is to be interested in what you're talking about.
Yes.
If you're excited about it, like, I might not even give a shit about the topic you're talking about, but if you have an enthusiasm that you bring to the table, I'll fucks with you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Obviously, as a comic, you have a certain amount of workload, and I'm sure at some point you had a day job while you were doing stand-up. So now you have this extra responsibility of doing the podcast and then having to deal with social media.
Oh yeah.
How do you transition from I'm just getting up and going on stage every night and that's my responsibility to now I have kind of a real job? It's a legit job.
Well, when we started Guys We Fucked, it was 2013. Social media was Instagram was the idea of Instagram to promote your business was 5 years away. 4 maybe. I'm sure people started it and then for it to really catch on, because like it is now, posting is it's exhausting. But I think if you kind of plan it out ahead of time, it can be, a beast you could conquer. But yeah, that we were just so used to working. When both Corinne and I were in college, I worked 30 hours a week at Apple and I interned at SNL twice a week and I went to college full time. So, and I like had a lot of friends that I just had energy. So I had that energy kind of carried over to when Guys We Fucked hit. We got all these press, like every magazine, every newspaper, every news organ. Like we got so much press on our own. Now that we've had a publicist and I understand the work that goes into it, and I look back, I'm like, yo, we got Vogue, CNN, like every major media outlet. They just emailed us, and we were like, holy shit! I remember we were at New York Comedy Club once for a Halloween party. I think Corinne was dressed as Marilyn Manson and I was dressed as Lord. And we got an email asking to do a TED Talk. And I was like, we were wasted. Like, Corinne, we just got to do a fucking TED Talk. Can you believe this shit? It was pretty cool. That was very memorable.
Oh, man. Do you, I guess since you've been in the industry pre and post big social media, do you prefer life now or life before social media was like the be all end all?
The thing is, social media is good. It's good to be able to promote your business. It's really valuable. And it's like that we sell tickets via social media. I mean, that's really imperative to our, but you know, I guess how we sold tickets before was just talking about it on the podcast. And I do wish we were still at a time like that, but you know, you got to roll with the punches. I'm like, I don't want to be an old bitch
but
and
be
like,
no going back.
There's no going back. You might as well just lean in and get used to it and not. I had to really have a couple coming to Jesus moments with myself of like, don't have a bad attitude about social media, Krystyna. You gotta just fucking do it. It's part of the business. It's okay.
Yeah, what's interesting to me, which still, and I mean, actually, this is the other one podcast that I really knew of before, I guess before yours, was Mark Maron.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
He still does not do video.
Yeah, I kind of respect that.
Yeah.
Like, good for him.
Yeah.
And that's how powerful his show is. Like, fuck you, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Good, don't.
Yeah, I don't need video. He came in here to do a pod once and he goes, you guys are doing cameras? I'm like, well yeah. That's the only way we can do this. You're sort of set.
Times is changing.
I think once you have Obama on, you're in the clear.
You think you run out of topics, but you never do.
You can't.
You never run out of unique situations that people get themselves into.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever heard that you were like, I don't even know if I'm qualified to speak on this?
Oh, I mean, what category are we talking? Like dark, sad, or like weird?
Let's go weird. Let's go dark, sad, and then weird.
Okay, dark, sad. My woman emailed us. I will never forget where I was during this. One of the many like things that I was naive to when we started the show was how often sexual assault happened. Honestly, did not know. I felt kind of like, how the fuck are we not talking about this all the time? Because we would get so many emails about people being raped. And I'm like, God damn. This is a topic that should be talked about with sexuality because it's something that happens. But a woman emailed us and I had a pretty dark childhood. I didn't realize that until like 5 years ago though. So I was still like, everything's great. I was great. My parents are great. You know, that kind of thing. And this woman emailed us saying that her dad gang raped her on her 10th birthday. He had like all these friends come over to like gang rape her. And it was super, super, she's very matter of fact about it. And then she said she escaped to a Kroger grocery store and she met she managed, the police helped her find child protective services and she got adopted and to a lovely family. But I was like, that was up until that point, the most intense thing I've ever heard. And I didn't even know that happened. And I felt my innocence leave my body when I read that email. And then, but you know, that was kind of the start of, this kind of dark stuff happens to people. And I think it's very valuable to talk about in a way that you're not afraid to say the word raped, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I was, because it just made me uncomfortable because it was.
Well, also the understanding of what that is changed over the years. Like there was no consideration for the fact that, at least me growing up, there was no consideration for the fact that if you're drunk, you can't legally consent. Like that wasn't considered rape. If you consented while you were drunk, you consented. Yeah.
And I've had many times in my college days where I was like, "Did I fuck him?" And then he's like, "I think I fucked you last night." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't want that." And you don't compute. It was to the point we got so many emails about rape that I ended up volunteering at Bellevue Hospital. I signed up for this like advocacy program where you're a volunteer advocate for anybody who comes into the ER. Who's experienced sexual assault or domestic violence. And you kind of are part of their medical team and you're like the liaison between the police, should they choose to press charges, and the doctors and them. So you're like the point person. And
you're also the one that's based in reality that understands them the way that like you're not seeing this every day. So for a doctor that deals with this every day, it's just another patient. And you have to be like, I don't see this every day.
You need empathy. You need compassion.
You're the human
being.
You
need somebody to not be medical about it with you. And you need somebody to go, do you want like a cupcake? Do you want like a bottle of water? I'll go get it for you. Like, I got you. And so, but I went through the training and COVID happened. So they
oh fuck.
They just got rid of the program and I'm like, People still get raped, so you should probably.
Ow, they're locked in the house. What do you mean? Everyone's locked in the house?
Oh, domestic violence. Yeah,
it went through the roof.
Yes, crazy.
Went through the roof.
It was bigger numbers. Yeah. But one thing that I was very shocked to learn, again, one of those things where, as you get older and you have more life experience, you talk to more people, you're like, okay, these are things that happen that I did not know about. A lot of the people that came in for rape were men from Rikers.
Really? Interesting.
And as a woman, that's a layered, man. That's a layered experience. I am face to face with a man who, whatever he did, it doesn't matter what he did to get in there. And then he got sexually assaulted. And then he was, brave enough to fucking say something, because half of that goes unreported, because with rape and masculinity, that they butt heads.
That's a running joke. The running joke outside of prison is, don't want to go to prison, don't drop the soap, you're gonna get fucked. And then
totally. But then you realize what that means is your body is getting violated when you're in a cage.
And there's probably more than one person involved, and you literally cannot do anything about it.
Yeah. There's not a lot of, prison.
That's something
prison blows. It's really, truly awful. Like childhood trauma. Now I understand childhood trauma and what it really is and how common it is. I'm like, the people that commit the most heinous crimes are the ones that need the most love. You're locking them in a cage and then yelling at them. You think that's going to help society? No, it's not.
No, I mean that's also one of the things I had to get over with working for Law and Order SVU. That desensitizes you to that stuff all the time. Because
so did they bring it off of true stories? Or
it was stories from the news that they twist, and but every day you're walking in, there's a new rape victim, there's a new body in the dumpster. And before I started working there was always like, oh, everybody probably watches SVU and thinks, oh, we can't go to New York, you just get raped on every corner. Mm-hmm. And then you sit there and you're watching them produce it, and they're very hands-on and careful about everything they're doing and saying, which I always respected and appreciated. But also it desensitizes you to just bodies in the street and battered women. And it's and I had to.
I mean, we had a shirt called a wife beater for a long time that we were just like, LOL.
I still hear that word all the time.
Yes, me too. And it doesn't
register.
It doesn't right? Because, and that shows you how quickly you could become numb to something.
That's why I try to be lenient about people out here there are a lot of comics here who still say retard all the time.
Yeah, it's a fun word.
Yeah, it really, and sometimes Rick.
And I would never call a mentally challenged person retarded.
Rick Ingraham says it perfectly. Sometimes there just aren't other words to describe the way a person's behaving.
Well, society already took the word retarded, and we took it away from mentally challenged people, and we gave it to the dipshit friend who gets drunk first at the party and drives his car into the house.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
I would never call a mentally challenged person retarded. No. That feels so terrible.
No.
But I would call my fucking drunk friend retarded.
Exactly. And I'm trying to ignore that word completely from the vocabulary. It's just difficult.
It's a fun one.
Retarded is a good one.
Well, context matters and meaning matters.
But that's the thing. In the public eye, context is completely ignored.
Yes, it is.
That's the problem.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So that's crazy that starting this podcast led to all of this.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's
wild. And we've gotten so far as the serious stuff I really didn't see coming. And then people would write us about this one girl. Oh, this was a cool one. She was on a hockey team in Canada, and she was maybe 18 or 19. And they didn't have a girls' league. They didn't have a mixed gender league. So she played on the boys' team, and she was really good. And she there was a kid on the opposing team that bullied her, but sexually bullied her. Said he was gonna he would check her in weird ways, on the ice, and he would take his hockey stick and shove it in between her rib cage and stuff, and say that he wanted to rape her or something, really sexually violent things. And we read it. We read the email, and then we got BuzzFeed Canada emailed us and said, "Hey, can you link us up with that girl?" And there was this huge story about it. And then the hockey league, that local hockey league, they changed the rules, and they talked about sexual harassment wasn't a part of
that is wild.
A violation because it just wasn't talked about. I'm like, that's fucking cool. Because I do think I don't think any people are born pieces of shit. I think you learn to be a piece of shit.
Okay, so let's get to the weirdest thing that you've dealt with on the pod.
People love, on the podcast, people love getting pooped on a lot.
Really?
People love race play, Anne Frank role play, Nazi role play, slave and owner role play. Just emails where I'm like, wow, I'm going to read, I guess I'm going to read it. Because this is a thing. And then, because I'm always like, does anybody else do this? And then, sure, there's always people that do do it. Yeah.
My first thought would be someone just fucking with us. And they're sending in emails just for attention. And then that's what happens. That's basically Twitter. You open up to the whole world and they find their people.
Yes, they do. Oh,
that's crazy.
I fucked up. This is tricky. I really got caught.
I'm very impressed with how far you've gotten.
Really?
Yeah.
I knowing me, I'm like, I should have gone farther. I'm a perfectionist.
I'm very impressed that you at least have the siding to a car.
Yeah, it's not bad.
If you could change one thing about the industry as it is right now, what would it be? Comedy and entertainment in general.
Entertainment in general. Oh, well, definitely. I mean, I've been reading a lot about this strike and what they're asking for. There was a really great video that I watched. I'm like, I'm so glad I saw this. So SAG, the entertainment industry strikes every so many years for this exact reason. So this really isn't anything new. The only thing that's new, like as technology evolves, the actors and the entertainers that are involved in making it get the short end of the stick with the paycheck, and then they have to strike, and then they get their rights. So it's kind of like something that's been happening a lot. So I mean, I want people to just get fucking paid. I wish there were more grants. I wish there were more grants for artists, like big dick grants.
Yeah.
Because so that they can do, I don't know, they can do experimental things like make a short film. Like
Canada is huge with that. Just throw it out that they give out an amazing amount of grants, and you have to be a citizen to apply for them. Yeah. And they have a lot of festivals that are exclusive to Canadians. Like they're doing it right.
Yeah, that's great. Well, they're doing it that way though because no one wants to go to Canada.
That too. I mean, everyone just went to Montreal.
Yeah, well, for sure. And then some of the best comedic minds come out of Canada. Yeah, truly. But I'm like, oh, why doesn't the United States do that? It's probably because that competition bullshit. As I get older, I realize. I've heard people be like, fuck capitalism. And I didn't really know what that meant, but now I absolutely know what that means.
Yeah.
Just, there's so much greed in the entertainment industry.
I forgot who I was talking to the other night. The entertainment industry, yes, but everything is for massive profit. There's no just like, hey, let's give medicine to people so they're not sick.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Wouldn't it be great?
I mean, there's a psychedelic that exists, called the iboga. It's a iboga tree. It's a root from the tree that can, when done the right way with a shaman and with the proper support, you can kick a heroin addiction without any withdrawals. And we live in a country where painkillers are prescribed like candy, and then it can escalate to heroin. Yeah. And then we put people on methadone so they're not addicted to heroin, so they're addicted to that. And I watched a documentary about the iboga root, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I'm always like, why? And it's money.
Yeah.
That's such bullshit.
Yeah.
So I have a new podcast. It's not out yet, but it's going to be out probably soon. It's about aliens, ghosts, and psychedelics. And I'm obsessed with these three topics. I'm obsessed. And one of the reasons why I'm obsessed is because there are answers to things and why certain parts of being a human on this planet can be so challenging and so gut-wrenching, and why a lot of people kill themselves, frankly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of our answers lie in those three topics.
Really?
Yes.
How does aliens fall into that?
Technology. So
you believe in aliens?
Oh,
okay.
100%.
I just wanted that on the record.
I know they're here. I want to see them. I'm too thirsty to see them. I think they're like, ugh, it's like a guy. They're like, okay, we get it. You like us. But I've just read a lot of books on them. We've interviewed a lot of people that have worked for the British government. I've looked at all the COVID gave me a lot of time. And I looked into crop circles. I looked into all the alien phenomena that gets talked about. And I think it's very important to be skeptical. You have to be skeptical. You have to doubt things because that's how you get to the truth, right? I also am very aware that I want this shit to be true really bad. So I try my best to balance that. But the congressional hearing that just happened. So there have been a lot of experts that have worked with that guy that have came out to say that there are privatized companies that work with really high up areas of the U.S. government. We have everything you see on Star Trek, and multiple people have said this.
Oh boy!
Everything you've seen on Star Trek, we can do. So beaming, transporting, all this shit. So I'm like,
Beaming?
okay. Yeah, so but why is you reverse engineer alien technology. So there's all of these UFOs that have crashed or like aliens that have like come down in vehicles and they've crashed and their technology has been reverse engineered. One of the and I do take all this with a grain of salt, but I read up on it a lot. The lasers used for surgery, that was one of the things that was reverse engineered from alien technology. Yeah.
So if you go back, so what if you Google where the technology came from and they attribute it to a single person?
I don't. Yeah, I mean of course they're going to attribute it to a single person because they're not going to say aliens did it. But but again, going back to greed and going back to capitalism, why aren't they talking about it? Is because Alan Steinfeld wrote this incredible book called Making Contact with 10 guest authors. A lot of them are former military people. He said, whatever country is able to get a hold of the most alien technology and reverse engineer it will be the leading power in the world, economically, militarily, all of it. So that's one of the reasons why it's kept secret. And it's just such a greedy, evil fucking thing to do.
So you think it's more of they'll be fighting for this for the technology?
Yes. And so if you look back, a lot of alien sightings, aliens have been depicted in hieroglyphics and caves in ancient civilizations, like a UFO exactly how we would look at it today. Like if you asked a child to draw a UFO, that exact drawing has been found in many caves and many civilizations all over the world. It really had an uptick in the 50s and 60s because of the nuclear weapons. And they've been known, a lot of sightings happen around nuclear testing sites and they like shut off the nuclear reactors. And I'm like, those motherfuckers are saving us from ourselves. Thank you, aliens. We need it.
This is why you're good at everything. You go in.
I go in, man.
You're not going to make a statement unless you've done your research.
No. It
sounds my thing with aliens is like define alien. I don't think there's
anything that's not
more
human.
Technically more advanced. Well, we can't do that. I mean, we're talking animal.
Anything that doesn't come from planet Earth is how that's alien. Any sentient being that doesn't come from Earth, but I mean that's such a broad kind of because we don't know what's happening.
It's like when you talk about it like that, it's very okay. So whenever I'm Jewish, whenever there's anti-Semitism, I'm like, yeah, well, we have a sect of our people that think we're the chosen people,
right?
And people don't like hearing that when you run around saying we're the best. God put.
People with low self-esteem don't like hearing that.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, fair. But that at the same time, I'm trying to say that I'm here saying there's nobody more advanced than
Jews.
Yes, but also
aliens.
No, there's nobody more advanced than humans like that. So it's a weird thing where I'm sitting here like, no, there's nobody coming with technology that's more advanced than ours.
Oh, there are. Yeah,
way more. I can't get around that.
So if you look at all the military videos that have been released by the government, the way that this vehicle flies is unknown to anything on that has to do with physics on Earth.
I saw that.
They do this. They fly sideways against winds that are really, really hurricane strength winds, and they literally disappear. They beam. I mean, I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I mean, I want to know. I want to know more about it. But there's no way that they're not.
I guess my
real.
other question is, in your opinion, if aliens come here, they're not going to be particularly threatened by us. I don't think they
unless we shoot at them. I think.
Yeah, but also if they wanted to rule this place, they could. Why do you think?
Agreed.
We don't. Why do you think they have chosen not to?
Because they have their own planet. I think that now these are far out. These things I'm just guessing. I have no idea. And So there's something called like channeled texts. So Abraham Hicks is one of the things everybody knows about. The Secret. Everybody knows about The Secret. Esther Hicks was a woman who like worked with the authors of The Secret or was kind of involved in that movement, but she channels. And what channeling is and this is a far out concept, even for me. I'm like, I don't understand this. She channels like the voice of another spirit being who know. I don't know. She's probably explained it before. But I've read a channeled text from like aliens and I'm like, okay, this is I don't know what I think about this, but I'm very interested in hearing it. You know, I have a very, very, very open mind. And so apparently aliens, according to this channel text that I've read, they they're kind of like looking after Earth in a way, and kind of like helping us not destroy ourselves and not destroy, like making permanent holes in the universe. And again, this stuff I'm like, this is pretty far out.
Can I just
don't
say
know how I feel about it, but
can I just say they're doing a very poor job?
They are.
They're doing a very poor job.
Well, they're apparently trying to get us to do it ourselves, like trying to, like, you know, when a parent tries to teach you how to fish.
No, don't.
It's not working.
Come help. If you're watching this, please come help.
Oh yeah, we need it
as quickly as you can. We have political problems. We have environmental problems, financial problems. There's nothing going right here.
Yes. People are losing their minds.
When it rains in California, the place shuts down.
That's insane.
I mean, I saw snow in Burbank. Everybody thought it was a chemical leak. It was
serious?
There was snow. There was like flurries of snow. People were having a meltdown in the Target parking lot. I was like, guys,
really? Like really having a meltdown?
Yeah, people jumped in their cars like they thought it was like
ash.
Yeah, like ash from some kind of chemical. I was like, guys, touch it.
Turn off the news.
It'll turn to water.
Yeah.
We're good. It's magic.
Although I will say, when New York was covered in smoke from the wildfires, we were acting like LA when it rains. We were acting like little bitches. Although the air quality was truly terrible. Like
I saw the
whole
sky.
City was awful. It was like you were in a giant's fart cloud for 5 hours.
I came to New York 2 days later, and there was still everybody was scared to leave their house. They were like looking out their doors. I was like, guys,
it was pretty wild. But I was like, wow, we're acting like little babies the way LA acts with a little rain, and now I'm not going to make fun of you guys anymore.
Oh no, you can still make fun of them because they can't drive when it's perfectly sunny out. So when it's rain, it is anarchy.
Why do you think that is?
I think they take the rules here very seriously. Like if you can make right on red, which you can in New York City. You can make it in Long Island. You can do that on Long Island.
Anywhere but
New York City. When you have the walk sign here, even if they can make a right turn, they'll wait for you to get all the way across the street instead of just making the right turn while you're up. It's weird. And when a fire truck or police car comes by, they all stop wherever they are, even if it's on 4 lanes over. It's precious, but
that is precious.
Like, why are we doing this?
As a New Yorker, though, I'm like, get the fuck out of the way.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Even in Dunkin' Donuts here, I'm the guy online who's yelling, "Why are we not moving?" I know you guys have nothing to do all day, but I have stuff to do.
Yeah.
I was never that guy. The sense of
urgency. Well, it's because New York has a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
In the service, you go to any Dunkin' Donuts, any Starbucks, you get the shit fast. They know they want you to be in a rush.
Yep.
We are always in a rush.
We run on Dunkin'. In California, they sleep.
Yeah. Yes, they nap on Dunkin'.
Yeah.
But I really love the sense of urgency, which is why I don't think I could ever live here.
Well, that's why I say this to everyone from New York. That's why you would thrive here. You think you're successful in New York, you would thrive in LA.
Really?
The amount of things you'll get done in LA will make people's heads spin.
Really?
Yeah. You will fly.
That might be good for my self-esteem.
I mean, you will fly. That's the one thing where, like, the stuff I've accomplished here that I didn't accomplish for 35 years in New York, I'm like, wow. I regret not coming out here sooner.
Wow.
Just
something about California, I will say, makes me sad.
Oh, and I'm always sad here. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, though. It's so beautiful here.
Yeah, but it's everybody's.
I like the people.
Everybody's depressed. I mean, not that they aren't depressed in New York, but everybody. It's what I was told when I was complaining about how terrible dating is out here. It's that anybody that's a transplant here came for probably a job in entertainment.
Yeah.
So that's their focus.
Yeah.
And that is so depressing to be just to be doing something in entertainment and just being told no all the time. It's just
for sure.
I get it. And that's the vibe I get here. Even the comics, they'll come in, and if they have a bad set, it ruins their entire night.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is the same in New York, but also.
Not really.
In New York, you can do 5 spots in a 5-block radius and be back on top.
Murder.
Yeah. It's a weird
and when we bomb, we're like, fuck, okay. And you can have like a realistic assessment of it without losing all of your self-esteem, which is
There are a few people that make me laugh when they eat shit because they'll acknowledge it and then live. Like Steph Tolev, when she gets up.
Oh, I love her.
When
God
Steph gets up,
damn
she's
it.
like, I just ate a plate of dicks.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's great. I love Steph so much. She'll acknowledge it and she'll like move on with her night and just go do whatever. But
and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I would lose all of my self-esteem when I would bomb, which was silly looking back at it because it's okay. Like it's fun.
The only way you're going to get better.
Yeah, and you just laugh. It's fucking hilarious. You went on stage, the audience hated what you said and how you said it. Like, that's kind of funny. I don't know. There's something funny about that.
The craziest thing is you've probably done that bit within 5 days before that, and it killed. So to think that it's not a good joke anymore.
There's a lot of factors that can go into bombing, which is, good to know.
We're getting close to wrapping up. You're doing pretty well here.
Not as good as I wanted to be, but thank you.
I mean, no, I'm impressed you even got that far. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Oh, God, that's a great question. I can only pick one. Fuck.
I mean, no, you could list as many as you want, but I feel like most people have that one thing that lingers, and then the rest is just...
My procrastination. I would really, I don't know what the fuck my deal is, but my God, I have to really feel like the house is burning down in order to get stuff done, and I hate that.
Has that even been... Was that also in college? Or
Yeah, it was always like that. I'm like, it's so stressful. So I hate that. And I would just have more fun doing the work if I didn't do that. And I've done a lot of work on myself. So yeah, that might be it for now. Because I've changed a lot of stuff about myself.
I mean, you hit a certain level of success where that doesn't work anymore as easily as it used to. Like, not even that you can't, not that you can't procrastinate, but that things are just flying so quickly that everything becomes urgent quicker.
For sure. Yeah.
Where, like if I'm working on a script, I'm working at my own pace. It's not something I'm being paid for. I'm doing it on spec.
Yeah,
I can take my time, and that's one of the things that's one of the issues I'm dealing with now.
It's taking your time. It's like that's the most lethal thing you could say to me.
Yeah,
I'll fucking take years.
Oh, really? Okay, great. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
But I'll stress myself out the whole time. You didn't do the thing today, Krystyna. You didn't do the thing. Why didn't you do the thing today? And I just.
Is it that you're bumping it down a list, or will you just do nothing?
It's like a fear flows up in me, and it's maybe it's an imposter syndrome thing. I don't even know, but it's debilitating.
For me, it's second guessing. I start second guessing. Like, is it even funny? I'm 50 pages in. It's like, well, I'm confident for 50 pages. I could probably churn out another 50.
For sure.
It's a lot of.
Well, and it's sometimes it's just do the damn thing and then correct it later.
Yeah.
It's better to do something than to not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're going to call it an episode. This was awesome. Thank you for doing it. Let's see where we got.
But she can't drive it yet.
That's what a car looks like in LA.
Yeah. There's cars driving in LA. Oh, here we go. There's the wheels. That I'm like, how is your axle still connected to the body of your vehicle?
It's mind-blowing.
Fucking insane.
The amount of times when I first got here that I bottomed out just going up a hill, like, oh, I got this in my little Toyota Camry. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now she can drive. Yay.
I think
women behind the wheel.
You nailed it.
Thank you so much.
You'll get to finish it when you get back to New York.
Oh, really? You're going to give it to me?
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
I need to see that pile of shit, Bill.
Yeah, no, me too. I know. Me too.
I'm doing this one on another episode, but I'm excited to see your pile of shit, Bill.
Yeah, I should have started with the pile of shit.
Yeah, we got that. We're getting there.
Oh, that's great. God damn.
We're getting there.
Oh, but you're used to doing this.
Krystyna, where can they find you?
Oh my God, you find me everywhere. Krystyna Hutch, at Krystyna Hutch is my social media, KRYSTYNA. And I have a Patreon where I do group therapy. I'm not a licensed therapist, but I facilitate the group, just letting shit off your chest. Honestly, it's like one of my favorite parts of my week. It's over Zoom. It's $5 a month. Patreon.com/Krystyna Hutchinson. I feel very good about it. And Guys We Fucked is like one of the best podcasts ever. That I'm very proud of.
Such a good podcast.
Bryn Fisher and I. We just got a new studio. We're rebranding in the fall. We're going to do Masculinity Month. I'm very excited about that. Like Men Month, and we're just going to dive into like what is manhood? What is masculinity? What is it to be a man? What is it to have a dick? Like what is that? And so we're really excited about that. And yeah.
I'm excited to see you in the main room tomorrow.
Yay, me too. Hopefully I sell tickets. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, follow me at Say It Ain't Sosis, and we'll see you next time.